Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Richard Duffy, and due to my overwhelming popularity, I've been elected to the privilege of addressing you all as the voice of my classmates. As you can tell by my lanky, tall, irresistibly masculine stature, as well as my incredible modesty and excellent obfuscation and oration skills, I truly represent the epitome of human genetics, which is obviously the reason that I was able to use. Typically, the previous bit of speech would have been an introduction to what it is that I'm supposed to be talking about. I still have no idea what that is. So, from here on in, I'll simply be listing observations, opinions, and anecdotes that I had about middle school. I can tell you're getting excited already. Now, as most good middle school students would tell you, I have mixed feelings about middle school. Sure, it was the time that the girls grew taller and more intelligent, and so did every guy, with one exception. When I imagined writing this speech, I could vividly see the words flowing from my fingers like hot sauce at a KFC, with pages upon pages of clever witticism erupting from my mind faster than disastrously became unfunny. However, like my family trying to put my 30-pound beagle on a diet, not all plans come to fruition. So now I'm just a few short paragraphs into my speech with no ideas. So I'll just make fun of Mr. Kehoe as thousands of the great Barack Obama once said, quote, "I've been to 57 states with one left to go," unquote. And I've never seen a man with more knowledge about American history and life in general as Mr. Kehoe. Did you know that the United States' occupation of the Philippines cost us 5 times as many casualties as the occupation itself? Thanks, Mr. Kehoe. Now, besides the things that were just wrong, there were, of course, those classic Kehoe moments, like when we were taking an oral quiz and the following occurred. Now, during this quiz, I'm not going to repeat any of the questions for anyone, no matter what. So if you need a repeat, just ask. I'm sorry if I'm making you sound like a 1930s Chicago gangster, but I don't know how else to do it. I've been keeping track of these Kehoisms all year, and here's one I just recently found. During the Cold War, we had 22,000 units, which could destroy the world 20 times over. But now we only have 10,000, which only destroyed about 3. To this day, I still have no idea what any of that means. Now, I will tell you, the audience, the typical protocol of this sort of speech, and provide an ironic anecdote about why I will not be doing that. Wow, isn't that funny? I'm so different and idiosyncratic. The origin of my humor can clearly be found in such attributes. Anyway, typically I'm making the standard 2 to 3 Kehoe jokes. At Phoenix students should move on to observations about 6th through 8th grade, typically getting more and more humorous and elaborate as the years go by. The previous paragraph is about to come into play, dearest audience. But nobody knew who I was in this school, and I was lacking my charm and wit for about the last 2.75 years. In fact, I was about as quiet as a scared puppy until one fateful day in Chinese class. As usual, I had forgotten my homework, so feeling rather cheeky, I decided to flamboyantly wave the flag representing my disobedience to the law by slightly explaining that I had failed to complete my homework as a result of my status as a chronic underachiever. The ensuing laughter of my peers was quite uncommon to me as well as fun, so from then on I began to continue with my humor. In fact, I'm not really sure that it was humor, it was mostly just talking like this and using big words for unnecessary things. And yes, parents, believe it or not, your children probably find me funny. Please leave the disappointment speeches and introduction to Jerry Seinfeld comedy until after the ceremony. Speaking of Jerry Seinfeld, throughout my time as a middle school student, there have been many teachers who are not Jerry Seinfelds. Pro tip: jokes about Woodrow Wilson were as funny in 1918 as they are today. And also, teachers, laughing after your own jokes does not make them more funny. seriousness, I can say that the faculty and students of this school have been some of the best I've ever worked with. However, there is one woman who I'd like to give a very special mention to. My mother, Elizabeth Ann Duffy, who lives at You see, dearest mother seems to believe that after hearing this speech, she'll all attempt to ostracize her from society for the crimes I've committed against her ears. But regardless, Mumsy has helped me through many different times. Such as when I procrastinated until the last night to do a major project. Or when I procrastinated until 11 p.m. the night before to do a major project. And of course, there are those wonderful people that I've had the privilege to call my friends. And that sounded a lot better in my head. These wonderful people had the patience to sit through my comedic experimentation on the bus until I finally put that sweet spot between vocabulary, Kool-Aid, Mr. Jackson, and the poor guard of New York, New Jersey. So regardless of the bumps along the road, middle school will definitely be something that I'll remember. Perhaps not for the friendships, or the learning, or the key bosoms, but mostly because I got to give this speech. I'm not sure how I can phrase my feelings toward this speech and the quite humorous fact that you've all been forced to sit through it without offending anybody, so I'll just end with a quote by Phyllis Diller. We spend the first 12 months of our children's lives teaching them to walk and talk, and the next 12 years telling them to sit down and shut up. But parents, as a student who went to school with your kids, I can tell you, it didn't work at all. Thank you, everybody.